Well, Maureen Silcoff is the chair of the litigation committee for the Canadian Association of Refugee Lawyers. She joins me now from Toronto. Maureen Silcoff, good to speak to you, first of all. Why do you believe these proposed changes in the budget bill are an attack on refugee rights?
Thank you for having me. Well, I'm really concerned about one change in particular that's extremely problematic, and that has to do with denying people a refugee hearing and pushing them into an inferior system. And I think there's three reasons why people should be concerned about this particular change. First of all, what it does is it takes a human rights issue of refugee determination and it violates basic principles of justice. And really, what we're doing by pushing people into an inferior system is we're making Canada look more like the United States. And that's something we really want to stay away from. Really, what we should be doing is promoting Canada's leadership on refugee matters.
All right.
And aside from that, there's another concern because these changes are put into a budget bill. And essentially, I think they're going to be rammed through as part of the general budget amendments. And the problem is human rights have no place in a situation where there's a lack of proper discussion on the issue. So there's going to be virtually no debate about these particular very significant refugee matters.
All right. The minister says, look, this is an appropriate effort to stop people from what's called asylum shopping and to help stem the flow of asylum seekers crossing into Canada from the United States. If you've made an application for asylum in the United States, I guess some people look at this and say, well, why should you get to make another one in Canada too?
I know that the government is saying they're trying to stop asylum shopping, but my view is this is not asylum shopping because there's nothing to really shop for in the United States. The situation for asylum seekers there is so highly problematic that people don't really have a viable choice. We see very clearly the images of children pulled from their parents in cages. We know it's going to take years to find the children's parents. We know that asylum seekers often have their cases assessed and decided while they're detained. They don't have proper representation during that time. And we also know that the Attorney General in the United States made a very problematic ruling that basically cuts off women who face gender violence and people who face gang violence from refugee protection. So I don't think that people have a viable option at this point in the United States.
Okay. Look, the government argues that even under the proposal, even if an asylum seeker is told they can't make a claim in Canada because they've made one in the United States, there will still be a risk assessment to determine if they'll be returned to their country of origin, but they won't have a full hearing in front of an independent tribunal or court. How important is that change?
That is really a shocking change. So imagine if you're charged with a criminal matter and, in fact, the prosecutor is put in charge of deciding your case. That is really the equivalent here. It's essential that there be an independent decision maker. And I don't know why not, because I'm concerned about the lack of efficiency of this new system. We know that the government has tried to make the refugee determination process more efficient. With this new budget, there's more resources devoted to that. Even in the recent past, we see that the tribunal has increased its efficiency by, I think, about 50%. They have tools to expedite claims, to make things go faster, and they're using those tools. So I'm concerned about putting in a new system for people right now might present their own problems until
if I can just very quickly, just in the time we have left, 15 seconds or so, do you see grounds for a charter challenge here?
Well, certainly people in Canada have charter rights, especially under Section 7. Principles of fundamental justice apply to them, so that's something to seriously look at.
All right. Maureen Silcoff, thanks so much for your time and your perspective on this. Good to talk to you.
Thank you very much.